Hi everybody, Audrey back again. Hope you're doing well today. I have another page with the December kit from Hip Kit Club, which features a lot of exclusives and a lot of the crepe paper Good Vibes collection. So I am working with some boyish photos today, and it's a picture of my son and his friend. And they're playing video games, but they're kind of cuddled up on the couch, which is super cute. So I was thinking of video games, and I loved this striped pattern paper because it reminded me of the game, like the power levels of the characters in the game that my son plays. So I thought the stripes were a good kind of indication of that. And it also reminded me, I wanted to try to kind of mimic this like video game board where you're climbing up different levels. So that's my kind of inspiration for using this striped pattern paper. And I wasn't afraid to use the pieces with pink, even though it's a boy page, because I think it's still bright and super fun and busy, which that screams boy to me. So I added in a few bits of the black and white pattern paper as well, because I wanted to have a little bit of, a little bit of whiter area there. So I added a strip of that to each column. So I initially start with this design, and I have two photos. And so I have the stripes going, well, the strips of cut paper going from top to bottom, but I end up rotating the page a little bit. So I have my two photos. I'm going to back them with some pattern paper. I decided to use the aqua paper here on this photo because I only have the one strip all the way over to the right that has the kind of aqua color stripes on it. And I backed the other photo on the right with something that had that yellow, because I had yellow in the other two strips, but not in the third strip. So that is my kind of, not inspiration, but my reasoning behind using those colors behind the photo. So here's where I decided that I'm going to go ahead and do this horizontally instead. I felt that the pictures, because they were oriented vertically, that they were kind of getting lost in with the papers that were oriented vertically. So in this way, I think the photos stand out better against the background. And it's a busy background and, bright background. So I think it's anything you could do to make the photos stand out, I think I needed to do here. So orienting them opposite the strips, I think worked better. So I'm going to glue these down. And they're not perfect. There's a few gaps in between here and there, but you don't even notice it. I did use my T-square there to line up the first strip just to make sure that they were straight up and down on the page. Okay, so, and I forgot to trim off my tab on the bottom as usual. I definitely want to add some mixed media to the background, just to kind of ground the photos a little bit, and again, make the photos stand out from the busy background. So I'm just using a spatula here and some white gesso, and I kind of like how the look of this gesso kind of just scraped on the pattern paper, and it tones it down a little bit, but I still leave some areas of the bright color. And this mist is from the color kit in the December Hip Kit Club kit, and it is a shimmer's mist. It's called Snow Wayman, and I know this color isn't in the papers I'm using, but that's okay because I think I need something that contrasts a little bit. Contrasts, yet complements. And it's just a really subtle light blue. And plus, like I said, it was a boy page, so I definitely wanted to add some of the blue in there. And then I went through and added in some Heidi Swap Color Shine in Seafoam, and I think that picks up on the aqua paper a little bit more. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that, spread it around, and then I added some, is this navy? I think it's navy. It's either navy or black. Pretty sure it's navy. Heidi Swap Color Shine as well. And that picks up on the other little navy bits. So this die cut, the one that says love this, I cut from the cardstock that comes in the kit this month. And that was an old cut file. Gosh, it was from the summer of 2017 sometime. So one of the summer months. So if you go back and you subscribe and you get the free cut files, go back and look at last summer's, and as well as those little kind of starbursts. They were 2 different months, but the little starbursts, I thought they were kind of like, again, kind of related to a video game. So I was trying to find things that kind of related to video games, not flowers or swirly things, but you know, a little bit more geometric patterns. So yeah, I cut those out of the cardstock, and now I'm going to go through and just embellish. So this die cut pack is from Crepe Paper, Good Vibes, and I am just going to add a couple things behind the photos and a couple little phrase stickers, and I absolutely love these cork bits, and it's actual cork. It's not paper that looks like cork. So the stars and that big ampersand are actual cork pieces. I play around a little bit with some more. I kind of like those banners there now that I'm looking at it, but I didn't want, I cut this cut file on purpose, and I like the way that it looks, and I love the navy contrasting, so I definitely want to use it. I put the ampersand there, and I know it kind of doesn't make sense when I put and love this, but I just liked the way the ampersand looked with the love this, so I'm like, I gotta leave it, and I gotta try to make up something that kind of makes somewhat sense as far as a title goes with the ampersand and the love this. So I'm going to leave it there just because I think it looks good. A few more stars. These are the Pink Fresh Studio Puffy stars, which I absolutely love these. I love that there's the solid stars, which I'm using here, and the stars that are kind of like the doodly stars and scribble stars. All right, so now I am going to, maybe if my glue gets unclogged, start gluing a couple things down. And I forgot that, of course, I wanted to do some stitching. So I'm going to glue these little bits down because I know that that's where they're going to stay. And I'll start building my photo layers here and layer everything on my photos. But then I go back and take off these big groups and go back and add some stitching. So I love this picture of my son and his friend. His friend is actually our neighbor, and he comes over to play, and they were playing video games, but they just got cuddled up on the couch, and they were kind of snuggling with each other, which is, you know, it was just so cute and innocent, but they were still, you know, doing their boyish video games and talking about video games and get that guy, and you gotta move there, but they were snuggled up on the couch, so it was super cute. So I love that. Some of these other little tags, by the way, the one that says Be Cozy and Epic, those are from Pink Fresh Studio, and I think that those die cuts are called, the collection is called The Mix, but those are all from the main kit, I believe. And I stitched over the photo, and you can see I added some stitching to the top of my background paper, so just a line across the top, and then underneath the bottom of the striped papers too. I just added 2 rows of stitching, and then some stitching on my photos. And now I'm gluing everything down. So I added some just craft foam behind the photos to make them stand up a little bit, and it does not stick very well at first. Eventually the glue, you know, ends up sticking, but it doesn't stick right away. Even though it's fast drying glue, for some reason the foam just does not stick very well at first. And the when I have my photos that are popped up, and then I'm adding other pieces that are partially popped up and partially like hanging over the background, like this Love This tag. So I glue the Love This flat to the photo, and then I go back, and what I'm doing right here is adding 3D foam squares to kind of get the same height of the rest of the photo, so that everything is the same height, but it's all sticking out the background. So I kind of use a combination of adhesives there on those layers. I'm trying to create a somewhat of a visual triangle with my embellishment clusters, but it's not perfect, and that's fine with this page. You don't always have to follow that rule. This page does slightly bother me because I feel like the top right is empty, and I tried adding some words in and some titles, but I just left it because it's kind of busy. I like the way it looks. I added my journaling down at the bottom and some twine wrapped around the tag and the ampersand, and that's it. So there's a close-up there, my stitching and twine and the cork, and I love this page, super cute. I love making boy pages with kits that when you first look at them don't necessarily look like they're very masculine, so this was super fun. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and stay scrappy, friends. I'll see you soon.